let me just go over some of my pros of this thing and tell you guys, as you've seen in the title, why it might be one of the best small half slices ever made. Is this the end of the small half slice market? I don't know. I'm gonna, in my opinion, yes. It goes no further after this. The last 3 that I've done have been bangers out there, and this one is no exception. So let me just get into what I really liked about the boat first off, and then I'll kind of get into some of my little quirks with it. Some people were a little turned off about the sizing. I think it's more of a big medium. This is not small, it's not big. It fits me perfect. I'm about 175, 180 right now, and it fits me right in the money zone. If you start getting over 210 to 220, go with the large. And then if you start getting below 160, 165, go with the small. There is 3 sizes of this, so that's a good thing. So there's that. The outfitting, bomber outfitting, no problems with that. I covered that in my walkthrough. And it works even better in this boat because of this design. I go about right here as my seat, but you can go further back. So if I'm going really playful, I'll go all the way back. And if I'm creeking, I go right there. So it works very well as a creek boat right there. So I like it when I move it up a little bit, kind of disengages that tail slightly. I really love the ability of this thing to kind of pick up and go up and over things. And when it hits and it splashes up and goes. So I don't see any problems with this bow. I think the bigger, like meatier water, the more this performs. It is a very edgy boat, so Pyranha brought the edges down. I'm gonna do a side-by-side on water comparison of the Firecracker coming soon. Maybe at the end of this video, I'll leave a link if I've already got it, because I wanna show you guys on water these two, because I think you're gonna be surprised at how much better this is over the Firecracker. Or how about not better, it's just different. I'd found that this is very balanced back here in the tail. The tail right here was not as easy to get down as the Firecracker and some other half slices, but it definitely kind of catered to that size of getting it in and out of the rapids. So you hit and you go, uh-oh, I'm hearing a lot of whitewater coming, everybody. You guys see that? It's starting to build up. So I'm gonna go ahead, move this over to the side there, and we'll finish this video. Okay, how'd you guys like that cut? So I was standing right there. As you can see, the water just swished on down, came in like a storm and moved me out to the bank. So let me finish where I was at. So I was on the tail, right? So this tail, it's very well balanced, and the width that they put in this thing is very wide, so it doesn't get swamped out as much as some smaller half slices. It seems to hit and goes out very smoothly. This thing really is like a sporty little creek boat. The Firecracker kinda was in that way, but it still would get hung up on the tail from time to time. All you Firecracker paddlers out there, you can definitely chime in on this one, because what happens is the Firecracker would load and it's very narrow back here, and when it hits right here, it doesn't, when you're coming out of a drop, the Firecracker's tail would mash in and sometimes get the bow up. That would slow you down or get you go up and over the handle, back over the back deck, and it would kind of like get you in a tight spot. On bigger flow stuff, it excelled very well on tight creeks. The width on this, I really liked how they brought that width out. It's surprisingly very fast. So it might be the fastest smaller half slice out of all of them that I paddled. And I've paddled them all at this point. What they've done, they've carried the width from here all the way out, and that works. It doesn't let so right under the hips, it doesn't go down at all. It lands like a creaker and it takes off, and the bow's wide so it keeps going out. I really like that a lot. That was one of its best features right there, is its river running and ability to go down. Let's just roll it over and let's talk about these edges. The way they've done this shine right here, it goes up and it's very flat. It spins like nobody. I can spin this on the smallest of waves, and when you get it on a big wave, it spins like a top. One of the best spinning boats out there, maybe the Antics 3 is very close. The Scucks was pretty good at it too, but I think this and the Antics 3 are two of the best spinning smaller half slices by far. This thing spins, it releases, it comes out and it releases and just takes off with you. I don't care if you're on a big wave, a small wave, whatever, it will spin with you. And as far as like speed on a wave, it's got a lot of kind of up wave speed. It's a Great Falls wave, and I was able to get speed up very nicely on it, and I can hold a front surf pretty much forever if I don't get too aggressive with it. It might have to do with the way they kind of brought the rocker, like it's got this negative rocker right here and the edges right there. I really like that a lot too. As far as throwing blunts and loops, I can loop it, I can blunt it, but it's not as easy to blunt because of the fact it doesn't have a lot of rocker. and the rocker's right here on the end. You can do it. Don't get me wrong, you can do it. It's just not as like clean, as easy as some of them. Now, one of the drawbacks of this edge, so this hull, you can see right here how I've caught some edges on this thing. It's not the best at coming off of rocks. So if you're paddling like some manky runs, this edge will hang up on you from time to time. I never thought it was trippy. Surprisingly, it stayed out of the water really good for me. It didn't trip up at all, but it seemed to like catch on rocks. When you're coming off those rocks, you'll feel that edge grab a little bit, which is to be expected with an edge. You know, I've got some little curly cues going on right there. So you kind of break this edge up a lot when you're on like lower volume stuff, but that's okay. You know, that's why actually you could own the Firecracker and own this too. So if you wanted to go, if you had a Firecracker already and you wanted to just kind of get a little more sportier, a little more edgier, get a Storm and keep the Firecracker. And if you're going to be on some manky run, go with the Firecracker. I covered that more in my kind of comparison video. So now let's move on to the stern squirting on it. So, you know, it is a smaller half slice, so we need to talk about the stern squirting of it. It's not as easy to get down as some of them because of its width, and it's got a little bit of rocker here, so it's not as easy to get down, but it's very well balanced. Extremely well balanced when it gets on its end. I was able to get it up, and once you get it up there, it stays locked in very easy. I don't see any issues with it, the stern squirting on it. And you can spin it because it's short, so it's not hitting bottom. So if you're on like those lower volume creeks, this is one of the boats I have, just like the Firecracker, because you don't have that tail that's going to hit if you're like in a Ripper 2 or something like that, where you're going to hit bottom constantly by trying to stern squirt. Let's say, who is this boat good for? Who do I think it's good for? Well, I think it's good for everybody, technically. No, okay, just joking. I think if you're a true beginner, it might be a little too spicy for you. If you're a true beginner, honestly, it might be, you'll like the initial stability of it, but you'll kind of get pushed around a little bit. If you don't know how to use the rails and keep that tail disengaged, you're gonna have a rough time. It's gonna be a little harder rolling than like the Firecracker or some of the other ones out there, because it's a little wider up here. You've got a lot of width to go over. It's definitely one of these that's great from beginner, intermediate, all the way to expert, by far expert. The better paddler you are, the better this thing works for you. So it's one of these that will punish you when you mess up, but if you're a good paddler and you keep it kind of pushing, you're gonna love this boat. It's gonna be a very rewarding boat for it. If you like stern skirts and more kind of currents and not so much eddy line, it's a little tougher to get down in eddy lines, you're gonna really like this. If you like wave spins, spinning on a wave, and going fast upriver waves, this boat is beautiful for that. Rewards you in bigger flow, and it kind of punishes you in the lower volume. So who would I say don't get this boat? I would say you're true beginners. I would say maybe look for something a little more forgiving for that, like an Inazone or something like that. Go more that route over getting the Storm as your beginner boat. And if you're on a lot of low volume Manx stuff, this might give you some problems. These edges will punish you on some low volume Manx stuff, as you can see right there. You'll catch up on some rocks here and there and get flipped. And if you're not used to driving an edgy boat, you might want to skip this too, because you want to really get in this thing and make it perform and make it go. So in closing thoughts, I'm sticking by it. This is one of the best smaller half slices, and I really don't know what I would do differently and where else we could go with this. I know you could tweak a little bit of volume here and there, tweak some edges, but it is a beautifully designed boat. Piranha just nailed it on the design, the outfitting, everything works. Is it a Firecracker too? Technically, yeah, I would say it's definitely a step up from the Firecracker. It's one of these, if you get a chance to demo it, I say go out and demo it now. And if you guys have anybody paddled this boat and didn't like it, or there's something I might have missed in this video that maybe you noticed about it, leave in the comments below, because I always like what you guys have to say. Definitely if there's something you don't like about it, because I can't find anything I don't like about it. And as usual, I'll leave links below where you can pick one of these up and some of the other gear I use. And I appreciate you guys for watching. And that's all I got, and I will see you on the water. Actually, we have water. See you out there.